Good day, everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of The Interviewer. I'm your host, Bob Hebert. Today's guest is Dr. Pamela Lewin. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Bob.
Well, it's great to have you here.
It's nice
You
to
look
be
great
doing
today.
that. Oh, thank you.
Could you please tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a family physician. I have been board certified for 21 years, and that expired in 2001. But since then, I have been doing lots of things. I am, first of all, a child of God, and I believe in treating the inasmuch people, you know. So right now, I'm involved with a group of people who are establishing a center on the west side of Ocala. Mm-hmm. The clinic is called the Estella Bird Whitman Wellness and Community Resource Center. To this end, I am actually working with another clinic, which is a free clinic called Deliverance Outreach Ministries with Reverend Tyrone Oliver. You may have had him on your program before. Mm-hmm. And so I'm seeing folks there who have no insurance, no job, no money, and it's very satisfying.
So you're focusing on this part, the vast part of your life right now, on charities and doing good and making the most of every moment and helping the most people you can?
Exactly. I've always liked volunteering. In fact, I've been involved with missions 25 years in Jamaica, where I'm from. And I've done things like sponsored children from World Vision and Watoto in Uganda, and dealing with the downtrodden people, because somebody's got to do it, I think. And
amen.
Why not me?
Now, exactly how long have you been in medicine?
You know, it's almost too much to tell. I've been in medicine 48 years.
48 years.
Yes.
That's absolutely amazing. You have 48 years of dedication to helping others.
Yes.
And then now, at this stage, you are focusing on just tithing everyone you possibly can with your skills.
Exactly.
Well, it's such a blessing.
Yes, yes. I actually got into medicine trying to make a difference. Mm-hmm. It started out many, many years ago when I was about 7, I think. There was an accident outside of our place of residence, and everybody gathered around and standing around gawking. Nobody knew what to do. And so I said, you know, when I grow up, I want to know what to do in a case like this. So that's when I decided I'm going to be a doctor. But through high school, there were 2 things I had thought I might end up being, either a doctor or a pilot. I love flying.
Really?
And I love being in airplanes.
So a pilot was an option.
It was an option. I actually did do some flying lessons once, you know, and got to the point where I soloed. But the next day, someone crashed the plane, and that was the end of that.
I don't know. That sounds like Providence to me.
Thankfully, my medical career kept me going, and I've really enjoyed doing it all these years.
Well, that's great. So I would like to ask you to go in a little bit more depth about what inspired you to become a doctor. What really brought you to medicine? And that sounds like you gave me a little Cliff Note version. Can you expand on that, or really tell me about what the steps that brought you to medicine?
Yes, well, the thing is that I've always had this heart for people. Mm-hmm. And during my school days, I sort of breezed through school. My dad always used to tell me, you know, you don't study and yet you get through your exams. What would happen if you did study? But I didn't think I could. However, at my junior year, you would call it, in Jamaica, where I'm from, it's called Lower Sixth. We took off on a trip for 4.5 months to Europe. My dad was a customs officer at the time, and Jamaica was one of the British colonies. And so they would give their servants a trip to the old motherland, don't you know. And so we went on this trip to Europe for 4.5 months. When I came back, luckily I had already had all of my requirements for university. So I went into university. And when you want to be a doctor in Jamaica, you study, pass your exam, and be a doctor. Here, there are lots of other things that you have to consider. So I started my medicine.
That's a very polite way of putting it.
Yeah. Thank goodness. And so I started my medicine, and I wanted to have the community as my doctor to make the greatest impact, you know. So I studied public health. Mm-hmm. And I was assigned to the parish of St. James in Jamaica, of which Montego Bay is the capital, you know, good old Montego Bay.
Oh, yes. I know the song.
Yes. And while I was there, I was pretty happy, but things started heating up a little bit politically in Jamaica.
Oh, can you expand on that?
Our Prime Minister, Michael Manley, and Cuba's Prime Minister, Fidel Castro, were very close friends. I think they had met sometime before that in London at LSE, London School of Economics.
Wow.
And they were talking about lots of things. In fact, Castro was helping Manly at the time do things like build schools. We have a school, the Jose Marti School in Jamaica. He helped us make dams, micro dams, to help with the water situation. And Manly started nationalizing a number of the businesses, the hotels and things like that in Jamaica. So people started getting very ill at ease about the direction in which the country was going.
Love the word, ill at ease. Fantastic.
That, to say it mildly.
Yeah.
And so my mother had gone ahead and got a green card for both of us to come to the United States. But I was very satisfied there. I was happy in my position as a medical officer of health. And I said, I'm going to be here till they turn off the lights. However, within the next couple of months, I was on a plane for the United States because there were rumors going around at that time that they were going to take passports away from doctors. And that was all I needed to give me the incentive to be on the other side of that pond.
Wow.
And so I arrived in the United States. I actually had met a young lady who happened to be the sister of Whitney Young, back in Arnita Boswell was her name. And she invited me to come and stay with her in Chicago. So I decided, well, I have to do a residency if I wanted to do family practice. And I applied, got into the program, because one of the young people who was going to be in the residency program had dropped out. She didn't want to come. After I had been assigned to the program, she said, well, I am coming after all. So although there was a program of 12 residents and they paired us up as twins, I became one of a triplet, which was the only triplet I think they've ever had in the Cook County Hospital residency program. And I went through my residency. I became board certified and started to work here.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is unusual, but I really...
That's kind of an amazing story because I fancy myself as, kind of a well-read historian, and I had actually no knowledge of Castro cohorting with Manly at all, and so this is really interesting to me. So
they were just good friends,
Really?
I don't think Castro probably did have some designs on maybe...
I'm sure. Did he do anything that didn't?
Yeah, the Russians were helping him too at that time, and
Yes.
who knows that must have been a very strategic place in the Caribbean.
Interesting. So let me ask you this, Doctor.
Yes.
You've been in medicine for a long time. What is the passion? What discipline of medicine do you share? If you could tell the audience, give them tips or advice on any key thing that you're passionate about within your discipline, what would it be?
The word doctor comes from the Latin docere, which means to teach. And I really think that the primary function of doctors should be to teach their patients, number one, about themselves, their bodies, about what ills there may be that could affect them, mm-hmm. and how they can handle this in ways that are easily attainable, basically. So I teach a lot of basic things to the patients, something about diet, exercise, changing activities, doing some things, not doing other things. And so health education has been a big push of mine. Mm-hmm. And I'm helping Dr. Stella, who is also on this program, Dr. Mm-hmm. Stella Nemuseso, with a program for the empowerment and education of diabetics. So that's the first thing. And then the other thing is, Hippocrates said, primere non nocere, which means first do no harm. And I think that in what we do, we really ought to consider our patients and try not to hurt them. And nowadays, with the big emphasis on pharmaceutical treatments and things like that, many companies are actually rushing their products to market, whether they do harm or not. Because mm-hmm. if you listen to some of the advertisements on the TV or even on the radio, close your eyes and listen and hear what they're actually saying, rather than the big, the dog catching the frisbee and the person riding the bicycle. When your brain is watching the pictures and not hearing a word they're actually saying, mm-hmm. you realize this could shut down your kidneys, it could cause liver damage, you could die, but ask your doctor mm-hmm. if this is right for you. That ask your doctor at the end covers all ills, And I say, why would I want to take a medication like that?
Because and I'm sure your doctor must love this. 5,000 people coming at you. The commercial said to ask you.
I've actually had it happen. They come they write it down, Is it okay for me to take this? I said,
will my leg really fall off, doctor?
I don't think so. I don't think you need to take that.
Yeah.
So I try to find the natural alternative, there is one, because I really think that these plant-based products are made of the same molecules our body is made of. and they can handle it. We're never meant to handle chemicals. You know, the liver doesn't know where to put these chemical products that are coming in there. And for these companies to make drugs, they have to use the natural thing, which they start out with, and then they tweak it a little bit, add a chemical here or there, and make it into something that's proprietary, that they can patent and have as their own product. So once the body sees this and doesn't recognize it, what does it do? It loads it up in a wad of fat and puts it here and puts it there, and you wonder why people are starting to get obese when they're dealing with all of these types of things, you know. So for me, natural is best.
Yeah, it kind of perpetuates the medication cycle where you take one medicine for one thing, and then the side effects, you have to take additional medications to cover the side effects.
You take one to sleep and then one to wake you up and then one to cut down your appetite and to give it back. Yes. And of course they like it because that's more money for them. And I really think, no, don't tell anybody I said this, but I think that...
I won't tell anybody, doctor.
I think the drug companies would extract the last shekel from you as you buy their medicine, even if you end up suing them because the thing is doing you harm.
Reminds me of the old Pinto scenario where they knew the liability of the Pinto exploding if it was hit from the rear, but the numbers would be it's worth the risk.
It's worth the risk. Exactly.
Yeah, so
I think that's exactly their thinking. It's worth the risk. So
that's interesting. So could you tell me a little bit, because I know that, and I love where you're passionate about educating and making and bringing the awareness to the forefront, but you're also, that's part of your clinic that you're getting ready to launch is the education. So could you expand on how you're going to educate, what you're going to do at your clinic?
Yes, the clinic is set up in a modular building right now, and we hope that we will have a bricks and mortar building within a couple of years. We're looking for people who might want to partner with us to this end. But right now we're setting up classes there, and we're joining with Dr. Stella here, who has classes here as well, and we also have them elsewhere.
So you're developing affinity relationships.
That's correct. Collaborations with other entities who are going to come and join us. And we're going to be teaching them lots of things about self-management, eating food, cooking, shopping. We even have a farmer's market. It's not anything that I have done, but Dr. Stella has been instrumental in starting this farmer's market on a Friday morning here in Marion Oaks.
Well, you still support it, so don't undersell what you
do. I do
you support it 110%. And from my understanding, that farmer's market is accepting EBT.
Correct.
And makes it much more user-friendly for people to be able to eat healthy and use it as a healthy resource.
And it's a win-win because it helps the people who are growing the foods locally as well as the people who are coming to buy natural, healthy food.
So we're supporting the community through community action.
Yes.
That's pretty wonderful.
That's true.
Can you tell me about the program specific that you have? You're going to be offering at your clinic. What are you going to be offering? You're going to be offering something that has to do with mental health, I understand.
We have both. The program is called a Real Health Initiative.
Real Health Initiative.
We're looking towards the basis of the disease, the risk factors that are causing the different disease processes. And we're concentrating on Alzheimer's disease, or even the continuum of conditions that lead to that, dementia, memory loss, that sort of thing. And also on chronic care conditions, diabetes, hypertension, arthritis, and that sort of thing. If you have 2 or more chronic diseases, you're eligible to come to our program. We're looking for people with Medicare and Medicaid or Medicaid. But if you don't have those insurance coverages, we may be able to sign you up because we have an access program where we will find whether or not you are eligible to get into those programs. And I think there are many people who might be eligible, but who just don't know that, and we can help them.
Well, you're also in collaboration with Deliverance Outreach Ministries that if you're not able to assist that patient, you're able to have resources to send them or give them information on where to go.
That is correct. We're going to do some navigation, and this will help them in terms of, for example, I had a lady who had a breast cancer for like 5 months. She didn't know where to go because she didn't have any money, and the clinics that she was trying to attend were sending her like 6 months appointments, and she kept calling other places that didn't respond. So we were able to get her through a program that we have in town called Michellogram to have a mammogram, a biopsy, and then by collaborating with some doctors in town, she is going to get treatment, and I'm really happy about that. So at Deliverance, we see patients who have no job, no insurance, no money. Sometimes it's a free clinic. And it's grant funded.
So you have multiple resources available to you
There
to
are.
achieve, to assist people, or to educate people, or to aid in some way, to try to meet their whatever need they may have.
Right.
So if they stand a much greater chance of assistance with you, even if you're just a step A, even if you have to send them to DOM, the Deliverance Outreach Ministries, or some other vehicle to which they can help them, you're able to do that. That's such a wonderful inspiration, Doctor. Thank you.
Yes, and not only medically, we are also collaborating with Langley Clinic, which has a dental van, a mobile dental unit. And
That's awesome.
that'll be able to come and park there and offer dental services for the patients as well.
So I can't reiterate enough to the general public that's in our viewing audiences that these resources are just invaluable to the community that we have. We have multiple places by which people can go to receive medical attention of some sort, even if it's mental. Now we have a dental van coming in. I mean, it's just it's just instrumental in change. Positive change, starts with us. And
Yes, and
here we
as
go.
my mother, who I always refer to, says, we will find a way or make it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our attitude. We just think that this is a time, we are the people,
Mm-hmm.
and it will happen.
Well, together we can make change, right?
That's right.
And it starts with us.
Exactly.
And Doctor, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come onto the show and help me give better understanding to the public of community service. To see someone of your stature doing such wonderful things is such an inspiration to so many people. So I want to thank you for coming on this episode.
Thank you, Bob, for
thank you.
inviting me.
Well,
And
thank you.
remember, I'm just the hands and the eyes of our Father, who
Boy.
is the great physician,
Well, amen to that.
whose program we are just a part of.
Amen to that. Well, everybody, I want to thank you for joining us today, and I hope you have a fantastic day.